very influential piece of Hogan footage. It was one of the most influential for me. And that was this piece of footage right here from overhead. And I got this probably 20 years ago. I don't remember who gave it to me. But it's, I believe it's taken during the footage where he's hitting balls, and he's got the wall behind him with all the lines on it and whatnot. But what you could see was when he struck the ball, a number of things. As soon as he hit the ball, the club head, you could see where it's tracking back to the inside, just like Matt's did. It's tracking back to the inside. So if I go get this piece of footage, and we know it's Hogan, and I go like that, and then I come over here and I get this piece of footage of Matthew right here, what you can see is that when he strikes the ball, almost immediately that club head's already turning back to the inside. So it's hard to split screen it here, but you can see where the club head's going. Well, Hogan is doing exactly the same thing. And so it became apparent immediately that he was not swinging inside out. To the contrary, the club swung from the inside, did strike it with the club head coming from the inside, but it immediately at post-impact went back to the inside. Well, that made 100% sense to me because the ball is on the ground and away from you, and you know you're swinging on an inclined plane, so you're swinging on an angle that's like that. And so, you know, let me draw it a little better than that. But the club head's going to travel down on an arc that's coming from the inside, and so it had to travel, you know, something like that, because that's where the arc is going, this way. And you know, and so it's only actually traveling down the target line for a nanosecond. But I've of course been told that I had to swing it over there, and I'm sure many of you have been told that too. And that's a very poor piece of advice. It's also readily apparent, you know, that he's not flipping anything, because you can see the lever of his right arm and his right wrist, and when he strikes the ball, you'll see he's still got a crease in his right wrist, and he's still got his right arm is still set. So here's two levers in effect in my teaching. That's a lever and that's a lever, and he has maintained those levers through impact. Therefore, he struck it with leverage. And the only way you can do that is the pivot has to be in charge. You can't be slowing the pivot down. And I had an advantage. I got into a debate with Tom Bertrand one night on GolfWorks talking about, he was saying that Hogan was using his right arm in some capacity and his hands in some capacity through impact, and I just disagreed respectfully because I had this piece of footage. And I knew that in order to do anything with the right arm, the pivot has to slow down, and there's no way to maintain that kind of leverage through the ball if the pivot isn't in charge. It's virtually impossible. I mean, I guess you could maintain it to the last possible second and then put the brakes on your pivot and maybe be able to maintain it to a degree like he did through impact, but it's practically impossible. And of course, when you watch Hogan footage, you don't ever see his right shoulder slow down, which lets you know that his core is continuing to move. And so that's something that you'll see, you know, very prominently in all of mine.